contracted COVID and was unable to join us, but Michael Sanders is on his way and he should be here in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I do want to turn it over for a minute. Oh, and please just make sure you turn your phones off and give your full attention to the panel. Kevin Connor is going to talk to us. He's from our graduate program. He's going to talk about some of our graduate programs. And so we'll turn it over, and then we'll turn it over to Scott Hine, who's one of our amazing alumni, and he's going to moderate the panel for us. So on behalf of everybody, thank you so much for coming today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Connor, Associate Director of Graduate Admission in the School of Business. For all of you that are here right now, you're clearly in the job search phase of your undergrad education. Something to think about as well is skill upgrading after your undergraduate year is over. And so I do know that on our panel, we do have one person who has a master's. And so the one question I'm going to ask, not to steal your job at all as moderator, but how has receiving a master's helped you both get a job and then excel in your position?
Yeah, it didn't necessarily give me a job, it did give me a promotion. So so yeah, after I got that, I had all the skills I needed. I should start off by saying what it was in. I have a master's in organization development and knowledge management. So that knowledge management, you also asked me how I use it. Right now I'm doing a knowledge management deployment and I have all my tips and it's really helping me a lot. It was real smart. So
Perfect. So within the School of Business, we have masters in finance, business analytics, accounting. We have masters in management. We also have an MBA as well. And then we have graduate certificates. So if you're not quite ready to do a full master's yet, we definitely do a graduate certificate in business analytics, which you can build into your master's of accounting. I know Scott did his undergrad here and then did an engineering degree elsewhere. And then I'll turn it over in a second to Scott. But again, Scott, same question. How did your engineering degree, master's degree help you kind of elevate?
Yeah, it quite a bit. I had my undergraduate extension here from George Mason. I received my master's later in life as somewhat of as an adult, mature father of three, working on it part-time for several years. And it really did help me, similar to what Jackie mentioned, for promotion opportunity. I was in the federal government. I was GS-14 at the time, for those that are familiar with the government pay scale. And I was competing for GS-15s, and someone came back to me and said, Scott, you have all the background, you have all the experience, but really to differentiate yourself from others, you really should get your master's degree. And not that it had to be in engineering, but something on that side. And so I wound up doing that, and shortly thereafter, not 100% correlated, but I did get my promotion to a GS-15, and then I've since moved on to become a senior executive at the Department of Energy. So it was immense.
Thank you, Scott. And I'll be around after the panel in case you have any questions about our master's programs within the School of Business. And if you do have questions about master's program outside the School of Business, I'm happy to provide your contact information to someone in the schools as well. Okay. Thank you all for attending. I'm going to turn it over to Scott now. And yes, you're right. I appreciate everyone.
I'll stand over here for a little bit. I understand I'm really working towards the owl, is what we call it. Is that right? I think that's what I've been told. This device right here is the owl. Yeah. Okay. So we will pick up on the camera and sound. So good afternoon. Welcome to the Fairfax campus. I know we have a number of folks. I'm not sure if I can see how many from here that are connecting virtually, and I understand some from even our Mason campus in Korea. So welcome to everyone, not just the 10 or so students in the room, but thank you very much for being here, and certainly thank our panel members in advance for the questions. We have until 2 o'clock for the panel, but then there's a networking component afterwards from 2 to 2:30, and again, there's beverages and some treats over there as well. So again, Scott Hine, I work for the Department of Energy as a federal employee, been with the federal government to include active duty military time for 36 years. I have been working from home here in Fairfax for the last couple of years. Normally my day job would be located on Independence Avenue in Washington, DC in the Forest Hall. So I think with that, I'm going to, oh, maybe one other thing, sorry. I am very active, as Terry mentioned, in alumni relations. I was just the president of the School of Business Alumni Chapter, which all of you will be able to join once you graduate. There's no cost. There's a lot of benefit. Samit might even be able to speak to it. Samit is a recent grad and was on the chapter last year or so. I am the president-elect of the Alumni Association for the entire university. And I also teach an engineering class out at the Science and Technology campus in IT project management class Thursday evenings. So that's my background. So what I'd like to do is I'll go basically just starting at this end of the table down. Then we have until 2 o'clock, like 40, 50, 45, 50 minutes or so. But I really want to make this as interactive as we can. So please feel free to ask our panel and any question at any time related to government contracting. So I think that question we'll start with for Christopher and then work our way down is a little bit, because we want to provide context, is if you could, each of you provide a brief overview of yourself, your current role or position, and then how would you define GovCon for students who might not be familiar enough with what GovCon is. So Christopher.
Sure. So my name is Christopher Hall. I'm the acting deputy assistant IG for audits at the Defense Intelligence Agency Office of Inspector General. I originally worked, I've been there for a little over 6 years now. For those that might not be familiar, the Office of Inspector General is we're responsible for providing independent oversight within agencies. So for those of you that are studying accounting and you study auditing, auditing is not just financial statement auditing, it's all kinds of auditing, looking at some way to independently assess programs, projects, activity. Prior to that, I spent a number of years as a federal contractor working for a public accounting firm, doing financial statement audits and consulting work. So I worked on both sides of the house. From my perspective, government contracting, everything that someone might provide to you as an individual or to a private company, chances are you have to provide to the federal government. And so whether it be consulting services, whether it be technology, whether it be some sort of product or some new skill capability, chances are that the government doesn't have somebody with that skill set already. They might have to go out and buy it. And so from that perspective, we have a lot of rules that we have to follow in terms of how we go about buying those things.
Very good. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Sanders. I'm from Interactive Government Holdings. I'm the founder and CEO. We started in 2005. Currently, we have about 14 or 15 prime contracts, about 100 employees in around 20 states. We operate in all 50 in the territories. We've also done work Oconus and Uganda, Nigeria, and some other places. But I would define government contracting in 3 different. I see it in 3 different buckets. You have the government, you have the contractors, you have academia. All 3 work together. Try and get the government the best quality product, hopefully for the best price for the taxpayer. I see it.
Again, thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jackie Kalinowski. I'm currently a management consulting at Accenture. I think to best describe my position, I need a small bit of background. My company, Accenture, is an IT consulting firm. So basically, there's a bunch of IT projects that we have. And the reason that the way that I come in is by making sure that we're sort of managing our people. Again, harking back to my ODKM degree, making sure that we're really caring about people behind all these transitions that we're doing. But that being said, in terms of government contracting, the way that I like to look at it is the government says, hey, we only have so many strengths here. It looks like someone, Jackie specifically, is super great at one specific thing, or all these other contractors are super good at one specific thing. Let's go ahead and bring them to do work for us. So that's my definition of contracting.
Thank you. Samit?
Yeah, and just quick, should we be using these mics?
No, I understand it's all going through the owl.
Hey guys, my name is Samit Singh. I currently work at EY as a cybersecurity consultant. I graduated from George Mason in 2020 for a degree in ISOM. Real quick, does anybody know what that degree was or currently has it? Okay. Yeah, right now they split it down into 3 majors. So it's like data analytics, supply chains and operations management, or MIS, which is management information systems. But back when I was here, it was all 1 degree. I graduated in 2020 and I started working for EY right after that. I started doing IT audit. And then I wanted to move to cybersecurity because it's more like, for me, it was more of an interest, so I'm doing that right now. And to answer the question, how would I describe government contracting? Think of it this way. The US government is the biggest purchaser of goods and services. I think on the entire planet, like fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's the biggest purchaser of goods and services on the earth. So they need like cool stuff like this business technology stuff to help them get their organizations, to help them out and create new information systems. But also it can be simple stuff like I was helping my upper management government contract trying to win work. And one of the lines was chop down these dead trees. We need somebody to do it. Here's a government contract, right? Whatever. So it's the stuff you think it is, like the School of Business, you know, teaches you guys, but it's also other stuff like maybe they need a caterer for an event or kitchen crew or this or that. Like they have a lot of stuff in the government that needs to get done, and there's a lot of stuff to make those wheels turn. So that's my explanation right there.
Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have any questions in the room? I'm gonna get some help in terms of moderating, you know, questions that come in from online, but anybody in here, any questions at the moment in terms of GovCon, what it is, what your potential role could be? We're gonna talk more about that, of course, but anything at the moment? Okay, thank you. So next question, and then whoever wants to maybe take it first, and then we'll just kind of bounce off each other. What skills are critical to students or attendees looking to pursue a job or a position in GovCon? And we all know GovCon is very wide, so it'd be a broad set of skills, but perhaps is there anything fundamental? And in particular, these are primarily School of Business students. So is there anything that you would recommend and or say that you're looking for when you're recruiting and bringing on new employees, perhaps right out of college? So is there anyone who would like to take that first? Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, you know, there's been, especially since COVID, there's been a lot of talk about soft skills, lack thereof, communication, miscommunications. No matter how good you are at Teams or how good your camera is, it's not the same as a face-to-face interaction. So in terms of something that we look for in a small business, right, is we can train for almost any skill, but we look for character, integrity, ambition. You may find it comical, but it's hard to find people that want to work these days and want to work hard. You know, we were offering people close to 80 and they were like, no, I'm cool, I'm getting 55 sitting at home. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's, you know, $25,000 a year. Like I would go take a job, $25,000 extra a year, you know. But that's not something that small businesses are running into. And when I talk to large business partners, when I talk to government partners, everybody's having a hard time hiring right now. And so, you know, the best thing to hire for is character, is integrity, is ambition. Because you can, I mean, aside from needing a certificate, you can train for anything else.
Thank you.
I was just say, the only thing I would probably add on to that, I mean, from my perspective, as a government employer, it's a long process to get you on board, whether it be the actual hiring process or the background check process for the intelligence community or Department of Defense. So the things that we're looking for, especially when we look at entry-level employees, your grades are going to be okay. Like whatever your grades are, that's fine. We're looking to understand you as a person. What is your drive? What is your motivation? Critical thinking is one of those big things. I think, you know, coming into any location, whether it's within a government employer or for a government contractor, they're looking for people that are willing to use their brain and think, because that's the thing that you're going to add value to. We can write, you know, they're going to be able to write AI scripts that can do a lot of the basic kind of fundamental things, but really the people that come in and critically look at a situation and use their brain to kind of come up with a solution. If you're a government contractor, how are you going to be a value add to your government client? If you're a government employee, how are you going to help move the mission forward? What do you understand about the mission? So all that comes from critical thinking, and that's the area where you have the most opportunity to differentiate yourself.
Great, thank you. Jackie, Samit, anything to add?
There's only one thing that I would add, and I think that we just touched upon it, is the willingness to sort of learn new skills. I came in and I had my management degree, but I started off on a project that was very focused on data analytics. Heck, if I know how to do data analytics, my management degree, right? I just took one semester class in it. But that being said, again, depending on the company you work for, people are willing to train you and assist you if you ask. So please be willing to take on this extra initiative.
So all these answers are very good. I thought some of you guys write it down. That's amazing. My answer is very simple, but keep it in your mind. Be confident. Because in classroom setting, like if somebody's getting a better grade than you, or if they're speaking up more, it doesn't really affect you. You know, you do your assignment, you ace the test, whatever the group project, you do good on that, you're good. But especially at like a recent, I've only been working 2 years in the workforce, right? I was in your guys' seats not too long ago. In the business world, and like this applies to government contracting, when you're in meetings, whether it be in person or in Microsoft Teams, make sure you're speaking up at every meeting, right? Like, make sure it's somewhat insightful, right? Don't just say like, the sky is blue or something, right? You know, because what I've seen, and like, I'm pretty good at it, because like, I'm very like, kind of extroverted, kind of confident. But if you're not that person, if you're not speaking up at those meetings, your presence, it's kind of like you don't have a presence, right? People aren't going to remember as much people aren't going to remember you as much as maybe the person who speaks a few times during that meeting. So if you're, this is for the shy people, honestly, if you're shy or introverted, make sure you like get that up, like practice, like, you know, join clubs at Mason. That's a great way. You get to talk to students, you're forced to, right? And like deal with employers. So just as a recap, make sure you speak up at meetings, say insightful stuff, let your presence be known. That's the only tip I give you guys.
Can I just add on to that? As someone that's usually a leader of a meeting, of these meetings that people like to meet in, it's kind of incumbent upon the leader sometimes to make sure that everyone has a voice. So he's absolutely right. If you don't have a leader that's making sure that people are getting an equal voice, you need to speak up or perhaps have a sideline with them and say, I had some really good ideas, but I felt like I was being talked over during the meeting. It's important. And if you have a leader that's empathetic and that cares about his staff, they're going to make sure that the next time you get talked over, that person stops and then you get an opportunity to speak. And if they're not, then they're not probably a great manager or leader. And so he's right, you have to be confident, but you should also have a leader that's making sure that everyone has a voice, especially on the team during COVID and stuff. So
Great. Thank you, everyone. What, again, well, and for anyone that wants to take this first, what type of certifications, if any, are you looking for? Again, say from School of Business students entering into GovCon, and those that perhaps are eligible to apply for. There's many certifications that we're aware of, but you have to have a certain number of experience and perhaps already be a Fed or be in industry to obtain them. But again, for our students, that might be, let me just ask, in the room at least, do we have any seniors? Couple, juniors, sophomore, freshmen, so kind of a mix, so they have a little bit of a different runway in terms of obtaining the certifications. But anyone want to take that first in terms of what certifications you recommend and or are looking for when you're hiring new students or new employees?
So I will say, typically, especially with entry-level candidates, we're not really looking to see if they have certifications just yet. But we are looking for people that have they're looking for those opportunities and they're candidates for them. So for example, in auditing, we look for things like CPA license. You not have your CPA license yet, but are you a candidate for a CPA license? Not a requirement to do government auditing by any means, but there's all sorts of organizations out there that provide additional certifications. Look at ISACA, you have your Certified Information System Auditor. Again, you're gonna have to get some level of experience in order to get that certification. But are you a candidate for that? And put in the requisite work in terms of your education. Certified Internal Auditor. That's another great one. Really comes well out of business school. It's still a challenging exam, but again, really applicable to the federal workforce. Certified Federal Government Manager, CGFM. That's another one, again, posted by the Association of Government Auditor, Association of Government Accountants. There are right over in Alexandria, again, there are all sorts of certifications out there. Most of them require some level of experience. and that's okay. But are you a candidate for those certifications? Are you kind of paying attention to what the requirements are in your particular industry? That's the thing that I'm usually looking for.
Michael, or anyone else?
I mean, for government contractors, and Christopher probably remembers when he's on the other side, it's much more based on what you win and when you win it. Most recently, we've been, looking for subject matter experts in business analytics and, some very specific American Housing Survey experience. So, there's nothing that you could really do in school that would prepare you, other than, when I talk to students or I talk to people that are getting ready to transition either out of the military or out of school into the workforce, I just try to, in the same way that we do with proposals, is try to think about what differentiates you, like Christopher mentioned, whether it be, your critical thinking skills, empathy, soft skills, whatever. Everyone's going to be pretty much on a baseline in terms of experience, in terms of schooling, right? So, one of the best stories was in Nadella's book, and he talks about going through his interviews at Microsoft and going through a lot of whiteboarding and engineering interviews, and then walking into HR. And the guy asked him, "Hey, what do you do if a baby's on the ground and it's crying?" And his natural answer was, "Well, you call 911." And the guy got up and walked him out and was like, "No, man, if a baby's on the ground crying, you pick it up." And so that's kind of what Christoph was talking about, like, but especially about children and small, they want to use critical thinking skills. Like if a baby's crying, you just pick it up. Like you don't call 911, and so I think those are the things that you should focus on is those internal things that make you who you are, because that's really what people that are hiring are looking for. Like we can train for skills, we can train for proposals, we can train for BD. HR has tons of certificates, and I know this goes back to certificates, right? And the thing is for a government contractor, a small business, we need them when we need them. I mean, there's nothing that you could do ahead of time, other than probably for our back office, which is HR, CPAs, CFOs, that kind of thing. So those kind of things, businesses always need accounting, HR, but in terms of technical certificates, we just need them when we need them.
Jackie or Smith, anything?
So when I was a student, there's either one of two camps you're in. One, you know what certifications you need to get, you just gotta do the work. Or two, you don't know what certifications you need to get, like no idea, you do research. So this is just my tips while you're still in school. So if you don't know what you need to get, search up the job positions you're gonna be getting, or you hope to get, and then see the certifications, read up on them, look at the website. They'll tell you a lot of fancy stuff about it. You'll get a good understanding. If you know you gotta do the certain, if you know you need a certain certification, like for me, I knew I wanted to move into cybersecurity, even though my initial position EY offered me with the IT auditor. So my senior year, I started studying for the CompTIA Security Plus. Who's familiar with that certification? Okay, good. So yeah, so that's the main certification to get to cybersecurity. So what I did was I started studying for it my second semester senior year, and then I got hired at EY, but I didn't start till like July. So I had like a month or two of free time, right? So I finished studying for the certification in that month of free time. And then I had my Security Plus. So when I was working in the IT audit job that I was hired for, I told him, hey, I'm gonna do this definitely for a year, right? You brought me on for this role. I respect that. I'm gonna give a good year, but I'd like to move to cybersecurity when there's opening. And having that certification showed that I was serious, and it was a good credential as well. So again, know where you fit in those two camps, whether you just gotta do the work, which just do the work, or if you don't know yet, start your research and do the work. So that's my answer.
I know that too. It's also a good way. A lot of times when you talk to kids about a 5-year plan, their eyes just glass over because they're like, I don't even know what I want to have for breakfast today or lunch today. But if you look about it from an ROI perspective, and you think about the path that you can take per certificate and how long it takes just in general to get that certificate, you can really plan out your 5 years and also what it would cost. And then you can look at the end of that and see, okay, this is the type of position I would have, and this is what I would be making out of the box. And then you can really get a hard ROI on, do I want to be a network engineer, or do I want to be a SysB, or do I want to be an auditor? I mean, because each of those degrees, each of those certificates, all that time is going to cost you money, and it's going to cost you opportunity. So you should really take the time, to do what he did and think a little bit ahead. And you don't have to make decisions. I mean, you can have 3 different plans, but you should know what certificates you need, how long it takes to get them, what the cost is, and then at the end of that, what kind of position that you can get. And then just one other thing for the ladies in the room, like hard science talks about, a man will apply for any position pretty much, even if he's qualified or not. Women will apply for positions that they're generally 100% qualified for. Men, I think it's 60 to 70%. So if you're 80% qualified for the job, you already beat all the books. I mean, so don't feel like you have to be 100% qualified. Our nanny is doing the comp security plus thing. And I wrote her a signature, and on the bottom, it's like comp security plus student, like graduating in November. I mean, you don't have to be there yet. We just want to know that you have a plan, you have a direction, you have a trajectory, and you have momentum. And then we can help you from there, get anywhere.
I have a follow-up point on, Michael brought up a good point, like, make sure you apply, like, not everybody usually has 100% of the job requirements. But from what I've seen, being a recent student like you guys and looking for jobs as a student versus now I still look at jobs because it's good to still look at jobs and see what's out there. It's a lot easier to get into these big companies, or it's a lot like nicer and easier when you're a student because their job requirements, like do it yourself. Go on Handshake, type in EY, Deloitte, Accenture, all these company like jobs, right? Look at the requirement. Honestly, it's like really baby bullets compared to like what they expect somebody 2 years in the field in. So it's still like requirements and stuff, but like read those bullets, you'll see the difference, like good communicator, MS Office experience, blah, blah, blah. If you look at a 2-year job posting, it's gonna be like 3 years experience in this, that, boom, 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 do this, that, you gotta have this certification. So it's a lot easier to get into these jobs now. You could do the referral route later on, maybe 2 years, you have a friend like me, pay some me, can you get me in? But just try to get it now. It's a lot easier, less is expected of you as a student, so yeah.
Thank you, very good. Any questions in the room at the moment? No, okay, we'll keep going. So if not as much for our new graduates or soon-to-be new graduates, if it's not as much about the certifications, maybe it's about their expectation or they're applying for a particular certification. Is there a type of extracurricular activity or resume builder that you're looking for? Being a mentioned earlier, I think Smeet mentioned about joining a club. We have over 400 registered student organizations here at George Mason. But is there anything that anyone looks at, again, if it's not purely GPA, the degree, certifications, but anything else that maybe rounds out the resume that really gets your attention? Whoever would like to take that first.
I mean, again, I look for a well-rounded person. Just as a warning, I like to ask people what the last book they read is. Apparently I caught a girl off guard one time because she said 50 Shades of Grey. There wasn't a lot of recovery after that. I asked her what other books she read after that, and she said the next book. So 50 Shades or whatever it was darker. So another question I like to ask is who's the best in the world at what you do? The thing that I look for is that if you're going to be working a position, like, is that something that you're really interested in? Because if you're really interested in it and you're engaged and you like what you're doing, and you like the mission of the contract you're on, the ancillary stuff doesn't matter as much. We have 22 people that work doing veterans outreach in Vermont. And we've lost one person who promised his wife that they would move after she retired. Everyone else has worked on their contract for almost 7 years, and they do it because they love the mission, they love the veterans. They're all veterans themselves. So when you get that mix of mission, personality, character, quality, you can almost accomplish anything.
I think one of my tips of advice, don't discount what you do on your personal life as being relevant to your resume. I know I was talking to someone and I was giving a training presentation on certain technologies, who has experience in, for example, it was Adobe Creative Cloud, right? There's people who do all sorts of passion projects in Adobe Creative Cloud. And I said, oh, I make TikToks with it. cool, that's still relevant, just because you're, you know, making videos or whatever, that's totally relevant, and you can make video skills, not everyone has the ability to make videos, it's actually a very hard skill to do, right, for those that you've done it before, so just because it's a part of your personal life, definitely don't discount it. Thank you.
And then out of that, as a small business, like, we definitely look for people that can wear multiple hats, do multiple things. Our CFO is our COO, our EVP of quality says that he also is a janitor as a joke, but it is true. If you do have some skill sets that you think, that are social, they can be valuable to a business. So I wouldn't discount those at all.
Thank you. Again, similar in terms of having our students prepare for searching for a profession or career in GovCon after graduation. But while they're students, are there particular classes, we've mentioned a little bit in terms of maybe we have some discussion on graduate work in terms of business analytics and what have you. But is there anything perhaps common, again, for Christopher, it might be an accounting service, accounting classes, but is there anything beyond that in terms of class work? Or maybe even project work related to the classes that might actually help differentiate themselves from their competition that you think of?
To be honest with you, I remember sitting in ninth grade and looking at Excel on computer screen going, like electronic graph paper. This sucks. No one's ever going to use this for anything. And now it's used for, now every single report I look at is based out of Excel. So I don't just like Smith said, like Jackie said, don't discount those things that you guys grew up with, because I grew up with the Oregon Trail game in black and white, Excel like 1.0, and now I look at kids and they're like, oh, you don't know how to use Microsoft BI, like I can make you a dashboard, and then you just need a pivot table and like all this other stuff I don't understand. I'm just like, I need the number on the bottom right. That's what I want. And so I'm always thoroughly impressed when people come with those skills, because they were not necessarily inherent probably in our generation. They were starting, but not like they weren't every day. Like most of my stuff was handwritten and in cursive. So to date myself.
Now, to Michael's point, if you're taking any additional classes related to big data analytics, visualizations, those are all tools that most of the current workforce, people that have been in the workforce for at least 10, 15 years, this is not something that they were taught to begin with. That's something you can add a lot of value to really quickly. And sometimes, when we talk about data analytics, we talk about that magic unicorn where someone knows what the data means and then can turn into a visualization at the same time. Working with those people that have been in the office for a while that know what that data means, you can turn into those unicorns pretty quickly. So, those are probably some of the classes that we're not used to seeing people like, we didn't have those when we were going to school. And so if you can bring that to the table, that's immediate value add that you can.
Yeah, I always feel like Michael Scott. I'm like, how did you get that number? How did you make that bar go up? It's that's amazing. So it's things that are people that are in our positions now we love to see, but it doesn't come naturally to us. Like, I know taking garbage in, garbage out, like we have Salesforce, we have Government, we have all the tools. But in terms of visualizing them, we pay a Salesforce lady a lot of money to make sure our dashboards are correct. And that way I'm getting the information that I need in order to run the business on a continuous basis and on a current basis. Because if you're not, you're sort of behind.
Yeah, I could go on about data analytics because I did it for 2.5 years. So if anyone wants to let me know. But I think another thing that's important while you're still sort of in undergrad is do a class that's going to challenge you. For example, I was in the management track and hopefully it's still the same. But I took a negotiations class and I wasn't good at negotiations. The thought of negotiating and bartering is terrifying to me. But it actually ended up being a really beneficial class and I learned how to aim for things. My first shots, hey, I know how to do that now, as well as my studies. So always think a class is going to challenge you.
Also, just another point of note, like women notoriously do not counter offer. So always counter offer, even if they reject it or they offer you something less, at least they know you're serious. So I would recommend that to the ladies in the room.
Well, I can give a class recommendation, but I need to make sure they still offer the class. I'm not too old yet. Do you guys still have to take business professional skills 1 and 2 in your 4-year plan? You do. How many of you have taken either? Okay, how many of you still have to take the second one? Okay. A lot of people still haven't taken it. So my advice is when you take those classes, those professional skill classes, those are like, if you have a cake, right? The cake is you and your major, right? Your major specific classes are the actual cake. Business professional skills is a nice icing on top. So if you take those classes, what they really teach you is how to, like, you know, speak well, resumes, interviews. They do a little bit of negotiation, but they don't go take that. I've never heard there was a negotiation class, so take that class. But you might have all the skills, right? The hard skills, technical skills, hard skills. But if you're not a good interviewer, if you can't speak well, you don't got no icing on the cake. I'm gonna go for the cake that got the nice, like, white icing, some decoration stuff. That looks good. And maybe that cake wasn't as good as you. The inside was like not cooked well. So presentation is very important in our lives. Don't let that be the drawback, especially like you're taking these classes, you know, these skills.
Lisa made us hungry.
Yeah, I know, we all are. Very good, thank you. It's a follow-on to say, business analytics, dashboarding, business intelligence, albeit that's been out there for a while, but it's newer than when we were certainly here at the school years ago. Are there other, say, trends or happening within, say, the GovCon world that we should make our students and our attendees aware of, just to be prepared for? Maybe it's not even taking a class, but just being prepared. We've been maybe the hybrid workplace where we were all in the building, then many of us were at home. Now we have hybrid, and some are all going back. And so anything anybody would like to talk, maybe more about a broad category, but emerging trends and topics that our students should be aware of.
So one area I think is worth a consideration. Technically, it's typically been used a lot with software development, like agile process management. That kind of foundational skill in terms of project management and understanding how to track progress, and especially if you're working like team projects during classes and stuff like that. That's a really useful skill. I've been looking at how I can apply that to your standard audit process. There's a lot of value in that. For the business students, management information systems is probably not a bad one to be aware of too. I mean, every business process is involved in a system at this point. Understanding how systems work, how they get built, how they get changed. That's all key value and skill.
Yeah, I say same thing for small businesses. I mean, what we've been working on process tools and systems ad nauseam for years. You know, start with an intelligence tool, and then you have to have a customer relationship tool, you have to have a BD tool, a pipeline tool, you know, a funnel. You have to know what opportunities are coming down the road, what you're qualified for, what you're not qualified for. So I mean, all of this is data, right? I mean, it's all just data, and from the government, all of the procurement data at least comes from one source. How they parse it, how they show it, how they deliver it is different depending on the tools that you have, but it's all the same information. So I think that the more that you understand how data flows, how to manipulate it, how to ensure its integrity, those types of skills are going to be increasing in value. I mean, I just read a report this morning that there's an estimated 3.4 million unmanned cybersecurity jobs that are open. So that's not going away. The world's not getting safer. When I was at Cyber Talks this week, the trend was cybersecurity is national security. And it's actually really good to hear them beat that drum, because for too long, DoD has been stuck in a beans, bullets, and band-aids mentality when critical infrastructure, money, hackers, phishing. I mean, all these things have been going on, and we've had major breaches within our infrastructure, and the requisite allotments of resources have not been put there. I think they're starting to get there now. There's starting to be a real focus, like I said, the whole drumbeat this week was cybersecurity, national security, so that's great to see, but it's also a huge opportunity for everybody here and everybody listening.
Yeah, sort of on the softer skill side, I suppose. One of them would be working with different generations in the workforce. Some generations use ellipses as italics, and it doesn't make any sense to me as a younger millennial, you know, so just understanding, again, that's a good example. But understanding how to work with different generations in the workforce is definitely important. I'm sure most of the folks that
I use ellipses, pauses.
do you,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
Well,
Sorry,
oh gosh, no.
I wanted to say something here, but I'm changing it to something else.
See, that's how I read it too, but not everyone generational thing.
There's that, yeah, for sure.
I know project teams are certainly more diverse than ever, and age is just one of them, right? But certainly, learning how to work with people of different ages and recognize, oh, using ellipses is this, it's not an attack, that's just not.
But like to Samit's point, like when he was talking about the business stuff and like the thing that I have, like, and maybe it's like, hey, if I write you an email, respond, like I own the company. Like tell me to F off, like tell me you got it, like say received, will do, anything. And millennials will look at you or Gen Z will, you're like, what do you mean it was an email? Like, of course you got it. It's like, nah, like that's not how it works with firewalls and security and phishing and all these other things. And it was the same thing when I was growing up in sales. It was like, no, I sent the fax, and you know, but people wouldn't have gotten it, you know. So I mean, the technology changes, but it's the same thing. It's if you're going to be good at your job, you follow up, whether it's an email, whether it's a fax, whether it's a carrier pigeon, whatever it is. Like you follow up to make sure that the person who was supposed to receive it received it, they understood it, they didn't have any questions, and that you can move forward. You know, and so that's to me what differentiates a quality person with somebody who's just there to collect a paycheck.
I don't have anything for this.
Let me just check again, anyone in the room with any questions, and y'all, there is a networking component after this from 2 to 2:30, so if you want to have more of a individualized discussion with any or all of us, you know, we'll be around here for that. But again, if there's any questions, let us know. And I don't see any from anyone online, so I think we're good to go. We'll keep working through here. You mentioned, I think, a little bit earlier about improving your profile, a little bit on your resume, but maybe more pointedly, is there anything or are there recommendations that anyone has for our students and for us in the workplace that have been for a while in terms of their LinkedIn profile? What can or what should our students or our new soon-to-be graduates have on a LinkedIn profile? We could actually ask you if you're comfortable. Yeah, does everyone in here have a LinkedIn profile? Yes, good, most, which is great. And I know, Sunit, they do teach that, I believe, in the business foundations.
And that's some class I mentioned, that's why it's so important.
Yeah, but is there anything that that we want to add? So go, yeah, go right ahead.
So I get about 20,000 impressions a month on my LinkedIn profile. I started about a year ago. I hired a company. They helped me develop some pillars of things in which you know, I wanted to position myself within the market. And so I would recommend that you do that. Is you know, LinkedIn is not Facebook. It's not for sharing your, you know, your meals or, I mean, events like this. Yes, that'd be great. You know, it shows that you're out there, professional people from the government, from industry, from large companies. No one will know who we are, so don't take a picture of mine, but you know, they'll know who these guys are, so they're important. But LinkedIn is very important. I mean, we always look at people's LinkedIn, and you want it to be cohesive. You know, you don't want it to be, you know, just your ramblings. You want to think about 3 or 4 things that you want to focus on that have to do with your future, and then, you know, make your posts around there. Also, you know, LinkedIn's has a very particular algorithm. They like to, you know, promote things that are what they consider quality content, posted at certain quality times. You know, you're not going to really find your post doing well at lunch or at rush hour. So you want to find out when they call it the golden hours of LinkedIn are, to make sure that your posts are being seen. One of the other things that I do is if I'm going to post something important, I'll let 4 or 5 friends know that I'm going to post it, because if you get 4 or 5 likes right away, LinkedIn will promote your post. So just game the system, like get a few of your friends together and be like, hey, make sure you like this post right away, because I want it to get some traction. But the most important advice I would give is make sure that you have a cohesive message about who you are, what you want to do, who you want to do it for, or the places that are doing things that you find interesting, follow them, find the people that are doing the things that you want to do, follow them, engage with them, they will engage with you on LinkedIn. I talk to at least 3 to 5 people a week on LinkedIn that want to start a government contracting company. And whether it's they want to sell Q-tips or power converters or lights, sound systems, whatever. I walk through the system and I let them know, hey, this is what I do, but if I was you, I would make sure that you do X, Y, and Z stuff. So I can't help everybody specifically, but I can help them generally. So
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Oh, Christopher.
I was gonna say, I'm probably the worst person to ask about social media, so in the intelligence community, I do bare minimum on social media. I have a LinkedIn profile that I've had for years. There's no picture left on it anymore. There's very vague statements about what I'm doing right now. But I will say this, I use it to stalk a little bit and to just be aware of what's going on in the industry. I still have friends in different parts of the industry, whether it be cybersecurity, information assurance. The rest of the entire Inspector General community is on there trying to put out, what are the great things we're doing to provide oversight over all the money that your tax dollars go to. So
there's millions of government people and probably millions more government contractors on there. So it's a good place to go if you want to do government contracting. There's a lot of great information. A lot of law firms and accounting firms publish white papers on new policies and stuff. So it's a major source for me for information, just to make sure that we're doing all the things that we can to make our business the best it can be. So I'd recommend it. It's way better than spending your time on Facebook or TikTok, giving all your information away.
don't download TikTok.
I wasn't gonna say it. Or buy a Huawei phone, please.
And I will speak for our panel members here. Hopefully they're okay with that, but we welcome for each of you in the room and attending virtually to connect with us on LinkedIn. We all have LinkedIn profiles. Please do that. And if you want, you can send messages right through that, of course. And then all I would say is remind us that you attended our GovCon panel and you have a follow-on question or we'd like to chat about a particular thing. I know I certainly do that with a lot of folks when I meet like we are today, and I'm confident my peers would do that as well, given their availability and flexibility. So please connect with us, and then if you ever want to follow up individually, you can do that as well. We're going to be down to our last formal. Oh,
So
Smee.
first, you want to say something too.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chad.
You're good. Okay, so just want to make sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn, I only have 2 things to say. One, make it, fill it out fully. They have a little nice percentage bar. Your profile 80% done. Add a profile picture to be 100% done, whatever. Do that. But this is what I did as a student, and it really is a nice plus. You guys know how LinkedIn has the skill section at the bottom. So right now, whatever your degree is or whatever, add a few skills related to your major. So if you're cybersecurity, right, just put like penetration testing, that skill that you actually know about, whatever, right? And also add a few soft skills. So you have some hard skills, you have some soft skills. After group projects, after your team members, hey, did you see any skills I showed well, please go on my LinkedIn and endorse me for those. So on LinkedIn, like you have a list of skills and it has a little number. It's like if you have 10 next to communication, that means 10 people endorse you for communication. Start that now for your group projects. Continue that into your work career. So like I just finished 2 projects this year so far. After all the projects, I hit up everybody I knew that I had a good connection with, which is everybody pretty much. And then I asked them, hey, good working with you. message them, hey, good working with you. Could you do me a favor, endorse me for any skills that you saw I showed? And then when you send that message, go on their profile first, endorse them for skills that you saw first, like if you're gonna ask for a favor, do it first. They'll do it back, same thing. And if you really want to be fancy, you can ask for an endorsement, which is a nice paragraph, few sentences somebody has written about you. I have two so far. One of them I got from, I used to work at Best Buy, I got from my good boss at Best Buy. The second one I recently got from a project I just finished telling you guys that strategy. It's gonna look really nice when, what's your name real quick? Yeah. Ayed. It's gonna look really nice for Ayed when a recruiter goes on his profile and they see communication, 10 people endorsement, like cybersecurity, 10 people endorsement. You guys are students, so you might not have the specific skills. You can put cybersecurity, human resources. Last tip, and I'll be sure to be weird time. Make sure you add the soft skills, because I see some people just do the hard skills, and when you change jobs, you're screwed. Like all those skills were in that other position, and now you're like in a bad spot. So put some soft skills too and some hard skills, diversify it so you're good, whatever you do in your career.
Add on one thing to that, if you want endorsements, write a draft and send it to somebody. I ask people all the time, like, just write down what you want me to say and I'll sign it for you. And I mean, and I'll add a paragraph or two if I know them well, but if it's somebody that maybe I worked on a proposal with or somebody that's from another company or whatever, I'll just have them write it and then I'll sign it for them. So that's the best way to do it, is just to write a draft of what you want them to say, and just be like, hey, I just want to make sure that this is accurate, and would you be willing to sign it for me? And if they don't think it's accurate and they think that you're an a-hole, they won't. But hopefully you'll have a emotional intelligence and be aware of who liked you and who didn't. So that's the best way to get people that are above you and that are very busy, managers or vice presidents or whoever, your CEO, do it for them and just be like, hey, this is my take on this. I just want to make sure that you felt the same way and it's accurate. If you would sign it, it would mean a lot to me, but if not, I understand you're busy. That's a great way to get endorsements from higher level executives. Just do the work for them a little bit.
Very good. Thank you. So we're down to about 5 minutes. So we'll go through this last round quickly. I'd like each of our panelists, again, thank you for being here with our students today. To bring up perhaps if there's anything you recall or that you thought you knew or you wish you had known when you were a student that you know now about whether it's GovCon or just the professional world in general. But then also if there's any closing remarks or comments you'd like to make that perhaps we didn't get to today or you wanted to put a finer point on. So two parts. What is something that perhaps you wish you knew as a student that you know now that would be beneficial to our attendees, and then any other closing remarks you might have. So let's start right here, Christopher.
Sure. So as an accounting student back in the day, I thought of if I was going to get my CPA license, I had to do financial statement audits of big, large corporations. If I had known about even the inspector general community and the chance to really look at like the things that government really does. Financial statements are great and they're important report cards, but like the actual programs that the government does needs oversight. And knowing that was even an option would have been really exciting. But the last point I'll make is while there's lots of opportunities in the government contracting world, we have an aging workforce in the government. If you're interested in the missions, I mean, the government does a variety of different things, everything from commerce to the Department of Defense, to making sure that there is electricity running out to all parts of the rural parts of the United States. If there's a mission out there that interests you, there's probably a government organization that supports that. And if that's really interesting to you, look at that as an option, because we need to start filling in some gaps. The tidal wave is coming, and we don't lose all that great information that people have. They need someone to offload it onto.
Thank you.
This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna make a pitch to the government because I work with them and they are aging and they do need help and they do need young people. And they do need people with your skill sets. Government contractors do too. But the government process is a lot longer. It's a lot safer. It's a lot more steady. So if that's your bag, I would look towards government. If you're more entrepreneurial, and not that there's not opportunity within that too, but If you're more entrepreneurial, more happy to you have a higher risk profile, I would say maybe hit the government side. If you're a researcher, I would look at the academic side, because there's a lot of that too going on, where we have academia looking at our industry. One of the things that I think has been interesting lately is the uptick in M&A in our industry. You didn't see that like even 5 years ago, but now it's just like, I mean, it's every quarter, there's some very large purchases. And I'm sure most of you saw that somebody bought Mantech. Who was it? It was who bought Mantech? Remember? It was the Carlyle Group, I think. But yeah, the Carlyle Group bought Mantech, which is publicly traded, took it private for $3.4 billion. So I was going to teach a class on entrepreneurship and GovCon called Billions in Your Backyard, because there's literally a multi-billion-dollar industry here in your backyard that's waiting for you guys to come out and show the skills that you have. And so that don't be scared. The water's warm, and we're waiting for you to graduate and come and be part of our industry.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah, I think I want to make it relatively clear to everyone. I think there's a perception of the government. I know these gentlemen are literally wearing ties, but not everyone is always as stuffy as sometimes they appear to be on TV shows and things.
I actually haven't worn a tie in like 3 years.
Yeah.
I've been in the last 2 years, so it's unusual for me.
Yeah, and I'm wearing jeans right now because I thought I'd come, this is how I dress when I work, more or less. So I just want everyone to sort of be clear, it's not always as super stuffy as it might seem. I mean, I do a lot of work on different communications and human capital. All I do is talk to people all day, which some people hate, but I really, really love. So I just want to make that clear. You can be a creative in the government space, not only be creative. But there are ways to talk to people and sort of be creative and instill that. Again, someone asks you to make a slide deck, how can you incorporate your creativity in that, right? It's sort of what you make of it. Yeah, just want to make it clear. Not always the stuff you haven't seen, sometimes it feels like that if you're government. But if you are one of those people, this could be the place for you.
Okay, thank you, and Sumi.
Yeah, so with this, my advice is something I'm fighting right now, and I need to make sure that I win this battle. My advice is 2 parts. Is that life is very easy when you're young. And when I mean that, it's easier to take care of your health and look fresh when you're young. And it's easier to like stay in shape and healthy, right? And it's easier to maintain friend and family relationships when you're young. When you start working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and sometimes even longer, depending on what's going down at work, it's very easy to skip the gym, you know, not meet up with the friends, not call your family members. What I've seen, because like when you start working, you're going to be working with people much older than you. It's sad, but not everybody has taken care of their health, their bodies, or their relationships. So you don't want to be that person at 50 or 40 who you're out of shape, you don't look good as you used to before, and you got no family friend connections. That's a very bad place to be. And I'm not saying this to be on a high horse, I'm doing good. No, I'm actually fighting it right now. Like I used to go to the gym, ideally, like should be like 4 or 5 days a week. I've been very slacking on that recently, and it's the area that I know I need to fix. If I don't fix, I know the consequences of that as I age. So for me, just maintain your body, keep on buying nice clothing, make sure it fits well, and your family friend relationships, maintain those as well.
All right, well, thank you. We're a couple minutes over, but thank you again to our panel members. Thank you for everyone in attendance. Again, we're here for the next 25 minutes for any Q&A individually and or collectively. And again, please connect with us on LinkedIn. Thank you, everyone. Have a great School of Business Day.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I haven't seen any. When I was
Yeah. I mean, I didn't drive recording and it's not was funny, you know. It was. Wow.
I don't worry.
Kind of about that. Yeah, with this, exactly. It was this that you caused. And so, yeah. Thanks.